Things are about to get berry. Very berry. Here's your look at the new Boss Fight Studio Strawberry Shortcake with Custard. Boss Fight Studio is very excited to bring the beloved Strawberry Shortcake characters to life in brand new action figure form. The classic Strawberry Shortcake characters are fully posable with all your favorite accessories and the classic scents you remember. I have this sneaking suspicion that the peculiar purple pie man of Porcupine Peak is lurking somewhere near. Oh, right. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Before we get a closer look at the brand new Strawberry Shortcake, courtesy of the folks over at Boss Fight Studio, I'd in fact like to thank the folks over at Boss Fight Studio for providing the sample we could have a look at. I believe she is slated to release the third quarter of 2023. If you guys are interested, there are pre-orders as of right now available on many online sites. Get down to measuring though, Strawberry Shortcake with hat on her head stands about almost 5 3/4 of an inch tall, or the figure is going to be about 14.5 centimeters in height. Also, just before we actually look at the figure's accessories, I can't be the only one that notices the strong smell of strawberries permeating the air. If you also notice it, it's because what they've done, like the original retro toy, Strawberry Shortcake herself has the strong aroma of strawberries. And one further better to that, the packaging that the figure comes in contained inside also has the smell of strawberries, and it's a little touch the original toy. The figure, though, for accessories, has quite a lot of stuff for her. She, first of all, comes included with a display stand. The stand isn't quite the color of her hair, but it's pretty close. It's kind of more of a neon reddish pink, and she does have pegals on the tops of the stand that plug into the undersides of her feet. I almost feel like the figure does need it because the size of the hat that she has on her head does cause the figure a little bit of top heaviness, although she seems to be standing fine for right now. The figure also comes included with Custard, adorable little Custard molded here in pink plastic. I like the little touches of detail by adding the stitch marks that they've got on the front of the body, on the legs, and also on the front of the face as well. There is sadly no articulation to the head and no articulation to the tail. Sort of like the original classic toy of Custard is a Staction figure. And I don't know, by now I think everything is smelling like strawberries, even my hands, just by picking the figure around. It smells as if Custard also has, like Strawberry Shortcake, a smell of strawberries. But again, by now, I think everything, I just have the smell of strawberries built into my nostrils as of right now. I wish that the figure could have had some level of articulation. If anything, maybe just a head. But I'm glad at least to see that Custard, like in the cartoon, tags along with Strawberry. The figure also comes included with a watering can. The watering can does have some detailing on the side of it that does have strawberries, a little bit of scroll work, and some leaves, and it's nicely cast here in white plastic. Unfortunately, though, one downside to the watering can is that Strawberry doesn't really have a proper means to hold it. She does come technically with gripping hands, but these hands, as you'll see in a second, don't really do the best of jobs of actually holding at least the handle. It does better to hold the comb, and it holds better the spoon, but not as much could be said for the watering can. The watering can, though, is a nice little touch. Probably will end up displaying, I think, Strawberry Shortcake with the watering can, but it will be more balancing than anything else. You sort of just have to rest it against her fingers. The figure also comes included with a Strawberry Shortcake. Get a load of that. Never really been a big fan of Strawberry Shortcake. It's literally just, I think, like regular pound cake, and then they add like whipped cream and they add strawberries. I hate to say this, but I always found that Strawberry Shortcake wasn't sweet enough. Either way, though, we get ourselves a slab of it that's actually on top of a plate. You can't remove it or anything like that. It's permanently attached, but I'm glad to see that they actually included something of her namesake. The figure also comes included with a lily pad that's topped with ice cream. Let me just slide it forward so you guys can see. I would imagine it's strawberry, living up to, again, everything else that comes included with this figure that's strawberry related. I would imagine this is then strawberry ice cream sitting on top of a lily pad. Ooh, I bet those frogs are going to have a delicious treat later, providing, of course, it doesn't melt. We've got the big, giant talking sun up in the sky, after all. May very well be melting the ice cream as we speak, so I probably may want to hurry this along. The figure also comes included with a spoon, maybe possibly for serving up the ice cream itself. I do like the little touch of having the little leaf on the end of it. I didn't have it, but my sister had the original Strawberry Shortcake toys. I wish I sort of had some of these. I could have brought them out for comparisons. But she has herself a little spoon, and the spoon, you can take the hand and fit the hand or fit the spoon into her hand. The plastic also, by the way, let me just say, is pretty good on all the accessories and Strawberry Shortcake herself. And she has, unlike the watering can, the proper means to at least hold the spoon. The figure also comes included with a comb. The comb also does fit into her hand, although a little looser than I would say the spoon. But she does have, not to drop it in the process, she does have also a comb. We're going to have to pick that up a little bit later. And of course, this whole time while I've been talking away, the figure does also have some gripping hands. The figure has some relaxed hands. And the figure has what I could best describe in her sockets right now, waving hands, perhaps to wave to the sun up in the sky. The hands themselves are fairly easy to remove. What I will do is sort of hold onto her hat. The hat doesn't stay well on her head very much, so we're going to just hold onto it for right now. Just remove the hand quite easily and just pop the new hand in place, and then she's good to go. Strawberry Shortcake also does come with some swappable face plates. She actually has 3 in total. This is the defaulted one when you get her first out of her packaging, but she does also come with a squinting, laughing face, and the figure does also have a winking face. I would probably lean more to either displaying her with this or probably just defaulted to the smiling face that she has right now. The face sculpt, like the classic toy, very reminiscent of the 80s. I mean, everybody knew Strawberry Shortcake growing up. And the beauty about 80s is that nobody was really judging the kind of cartoons that you would watch. Boys, girls together would be collectively watching G.I. Joe, Transformers, Strawberry Shortcake, Rainbow Bright, My Little Pony. Goes on and on and on. To change the heads out are actually pretty easy. First of all, like the hat doesn't really stay on her head at all. I mean, too far down, it's going to cover over her head. You sort of have to kind of rest it on an angle. And even then, it's more balanced on her head. It's not the case where I'd be able to tip the figure upside down and the hat would stay in place. This is sort of more just a case where you're going to kind of rest it on top of her hair. But to change out the head, or change out the face, you're going to remove first the hat. You're also going to then go ahead and remove the hairpiece, which is just a case where you're going to hold on to the face and sort of wiggle it from the side. Unlike the hat, the hair actually seems more firmly attached to her face. Then from there, the awkward moment of actually removing the front face from the back of her head. Just sort of wiggle this back and forth. What it is it's connected by 4 pegs. That looks awkward. And then there's holes on the inside of Strawberry's face. From there, you're going to go ahead and choose the face that you want to use. Let's go, for example, with the winking face. Just line up the holes to the provided pegs and then just fit everything together. Just as easy as you can get it. Line everything up and then take the 2 halves of the sandwich and sandwich them together. Then you're going to go ahead and take the hairpiece. You're going to fit that back over her head. It sits a little loose, but I would much rather it be easier to remove the hair than actually having it where I would really have to fight it and maybe even leave a little bit of paint behind even doing it. So I don't mind it's a little loose. Unfortunately, again, like the hat does sit a little loose on the figure's head sculpt. And again, like if you have it too far down, it's just going to literally cover over her head. You kind of have to rest it on an angle, kind of like right around there. It's designed more so, I think, when you display the figure on the shelf, then just sort of put the hat on. And for that, obviously, when we're going to look at the figure's articulation, it might just be easier for me just to all around remove the hat altogether. Then we'll kind of move the head around. Getting a closer look at the hat, one thing that does stand out is the fact that this Strawberry is different than all the others. All the others seem to be printed along with the polka dots on her hat, while this one specifically does stick out. I thought this may have been the point of origin where all the smell of strawberry is actually permeating from. But it's really hard to say, like all of the figure just smells like strawberries. The head sculpt we've already looked at. I mean, obviously this one has the the one winking eye. I really like this head sculpt, and really all of them are good too. Even like this one, although this may not be my favorite of the 3. As for the rest of the body, she is wearing the dress. Now the dress itself does have the frill on the front, like the original classic toy in the cartoon. It does have some nice additional stitching of green. I would imagine this would have all been printed onto the figure's dress. And again, like she has a nice additional polka dots. Paint's really clean on this. One thing I certainly want to commend Boss Fight for doing when it comes to this release of the figure is I don't see really any paint problems at all. Things that could possibly be a problem, for example, are the stripes on her legs. But like the leggings themselves, I don't see any mist problems, any paint problems at all. There goes the hat. We'll maybe just leave the hat off for right now. Yeah, the paint's really good on all the stripes, the alternating colors of the green and sort of the lighter greenish white. And again, she has her larger yellow shoes down below here. The shoes obviously do have, again, already mentioned the peg holes on the undersides of the feet, but the figure does not come included with a display stand. Okay, so let's look at the articulation here for Strawberry Shortcake. I'm going to move like Custard out of the way for right now. I guess what I will do is I'll leave the hat off just because it's so much easier just to move the head without the hat falling off. For Strawberry's articulation, happy to report that she does have a ball joint. So you can move the head up, you can move the head down, you can also rock it back and forth, and along with that goes the fact that you can also rotate the head all the way around. I would imagine this be a case where you kind of want to move the head first, and then when you get it to the place that you want it, put the hat back in place. Then way that the hat's not going to fall off on you. As for the arms easily come out at 90 degrees. You can take the arms and move them forward. You can also move them back. There is a swivel where the elbow actually connects by the joint. Speaking of joints, you can also hinge the elbow inward. There's just a single hinge right there. Hands rotate also all the way around. While doing that, sometimes it does rotate also as well the forearm. The figure has no articulation here for the dress. This is, by the way, a softer plastic that they would have used. More harder here, more softer down below for the skirt. And they did actually put a little slit on either side of the skirt, so you can actually give Strawberry a splits on the legs. You can bring the legs more, you can bring them forward, but not really as much as you can actually split them to the side. The figure has a single hinge only in the knee, and she also rotates the lower leg. Her ankles move quite freely back and forth, and you can also move them up and down as well. Once you get the desired look and desired pose that you get for Strawberry Shortcake, then it's probably best advised to put the hat back on the figure, and then you can display her that way. I wish like the hat could have found an easier way to attach onto her head, just because like the hat does fall off. Now, obviously, in order to accommodate a hat that doesn't go anywhere is by either permanently molding it onto the head, which I wouldn't want, permanently adding a peg on the inside of it that would attach to a very obvious hole on the top of her head. And I guess I don't really want that either. So I guess this is the easiest way to have a hat that's removable for Strawberry Shortcake. Not only if you did want to change out the face plates, but also as well if you just wanted to be able to have her hatless. I don't think it's ever happened all that much, maybe 1 or 2 times in the classic cartoon. But for me, I would rather just have her displayed along with, obviously, with her hat and her trusty little cat Custard along with her as well. I must also apologize because you may see here in final looks that she does also come included with a basket of strawberries. For one reason or another, I must have taken it out and put it to the side of my table here while I was looking at everything else that came included with the figure, omitting completely the fact that she came included with a basket of strawberries. You can see it here displayed along with the plate of Strawberry Shortcake that it looks like Custard's about to devour, and I've also got the figure displayed with spoon in hand and the squinting face. Not my favorite of the 3 head sculpts, but again, I appreciate the fact that a company like Boss Fight Studio include as much as they do so that you as a fan of the original classic Strawberry Shortcake, be it the cartoon, be it the figure line, can have her displayed on your shelf exactly the way that you want it. A little bit of 411 also for you guys if you are interested to get Strawberry Shortcake for yourself. Maybe you grew up with the cartoon like myself. Strawberry Shortcake is slated, in fact, to be released the second quarter of 2023. The price point for at least many of the sites that have her pre-ordered as of right now is $39.99. So it's going to be about $40 for all the things that she comes included with, and of course the tag-along smell. I would imagine anyone that's probably been packing up Strawberry Shortcake toys when the time comes, of course, to ship these out, probably have the same thing happening that I have had happen, having now reviewed her for like the last little couple of minutes. All I can smell now, and I'm sure it will be even hours from now, I'll be washing my hands, and I'll still be thinking to myself, does anybody else smell strawberries? And everybody else, of course, will say, no, it's just you. But a big fan, though. Big fan of Strawberry Shortcake, the original cartoon. I hope at some point, we are going to be getting other characters too, but I hope at some point we are also going to get the peculiar purple pie man, a Porcupine Pete. I won't do the rest of it. And I hope we also get ourselves sour grapes. The likelihood of getting a big giant talking sun is probably slim to none, judging by the size of Strawberry Shortcake herself. But again, like big time to be a big fan of Strawberry Shortcake with all the cool stuff that we're going to be getting from Boss Fight Studio. Once again, a big thank you to the folks over at Boss Fight for providing this sample of the upcoming released Strawberry Shortcake that we can have a look at in this review. Did you ever grow up watching Strawberry Shortcake? It's okay if you said yes. Let me know down below in the comments section. And also, what other properties would you like to see Boss Fight Studio approach? A couple of them do come to my mind. I was thinking Gem and the Holograms, but I would imagine Gem and the Holograms maybe keeping to this size, possibly Rainbow Bright. Ooh, Rainbow Bright, or even maybe the original Care Bears with Professor Cold Heart. I think there's a lot of cool older 80s properties that maybe Boss Fight could dust off and bring back to life with fully articulated figures with the amount of accessories that they did already with Strawberry here. If you guys enjoyed this video, want to hit with a like. If you guys are loving the content you guys are seeing and certainly do want to stick around for more Boss Fight Studio reviews, if you haven't already done so, and you also are the one that can't help but now smell the entire room smells like strawberries right now. If you guys, though, wanted to hit that subscribe button down below and also want to turn on the bell notification, you'll then be in the know whenever new videos are coming up onto this channel. Of course, as always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.